And that's one of the hardest things to do for
Yeah.
people who are like me. You have to love yourself, and it's the hardest thing to do because when you start treating yourself nice, others around you feel like the others around you are talking about you, or like they're
Yeah.
thinking
Oh,
about you, and
just the
it's
insecurities that come with that journey.
it's difficult, and that's why I really had to sit down and I had to think that I had to give myself the thoughts that they didn't care in order for me to get better and start caring about them again.
Hello, could you hear me? There we go. It's finally working. I mean, yeah, I'm so glad you could make it. I mean, the first thing I really ask is just, where are you calling from?
Texas.
Fullerton.
From Czechia.
Seattle,
Arkansas,
Vancouver, BC,
Louisiana.
And wherever you're tuning in from, welcome to Milking Ardor. If you're new here, hi. My name is Spencer Chan, and this is my podcast, Milking Ardor. Every week, I interview people from around the world and hear people's life lessons that they've learned, experiences they face, and the passions they're pursuing. If this sounds interesting to you at all, please help me spread the word of Milking Ardor because it's primarily word-of-mouth advertising. This week, we're going to hear from Adrian, also known as Amoistnapkin. Now, for those who don't know who he is, he's a content creator and he makes skits and plays video games online for people to enjoy with amazing commentary. He tells us the reality of what it means to be a content creator in this day and age. Then we're going to hear from Fortino Soto, a man of very kind words and just wants to share his message through positivity throughout anything he does, with every person he meets. Finally, we're going to hear from Andy, also known as Andy Bama. He spreads a message of vulnerability and how he's able to connect with his fan base by being real and authentic to himself. Before we hear from our guests for this week, I must say that it's been really crazy in my life, so I haven't really been able to push out episodes. So right after you listen to this episode, I'm going to have another guest, just one guest. There's going to be another episode. So this weekend is going to have 2 episodes. So be sure to check that out right after this. Thank you for listening, and here is Adrian. Thank you once again, Adrian, for just taking the time to chat with me today.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Super excited.
Yeah, so the first question I normally ask my guests is just, what's your name and where are you calling from?
All right. So, as you said before, my real name, Adrian, but on my online personality, I go by Amoistnapkin or Napkin, sort of like my alter ego, I guess, and stuff. And I'm from Southern California.
Right on. What's the story behind a moist napkin? Because that's kind of really interesting.
Oh, yeah. I get that question a lot when people like first hear my name and stuff. And honestly, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago when I started watching Twitch.
Yeah.
I didn't have an account. So I just thought, okay, what's something that's weird and it'll grab somebody's attention? And there's no other inspiration other than that. So it's sort of, some people said like it sounds like an Xbox generated name. And like it sort of is, but I didn't use Xbox or anything. It just sort of popped in my mind, like, it, like for some reason moist, polarizing word with some people.
Yeah.
Some people absolutely hate it. Other people, it's fine with them. And then I thought, well, you clean up stuff with a napkin if it's wet, so a moist napkin, and that's how it started.
Right on. All right. I mean, for those who don't know you, what's the like rundown or what's the elevator pitch of yourself?
Right now, currently, I'm sort of like in a rebranding phase because around, I'd say March of 2018, I started as a meme page on Instagram. That's where I gained most of my following. My brother has a meme page as well. He started it earlier, like January of 2018, and that's really where I started growing on Instagram. At the peak of Instagram, I was at 93,000 followers, but somewhere towards I think early 2019 to mid 2019 is where I stopped really being passionate with meme making and also seeing how Instagram, their algorithms changed.
Yeah.
Because beforehand, when I was like at 40,000 followers, I would consistently get views of like between 100 to 500,000 on my post. Whereas somewhere around October, I was at around the peak of 93,000. I was lucky to get maybe like 30,000 views.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that sort of discouraged me. And like as a content creator, you're always like looking at the numbers. I know a lot of people say don't look at your numbers because it can affect with your like mental health
Yeah,
and
for
stuff. And I've
sure.
had times where I've had to take breaks because of that. But obviously, like if you're trying to grow in what I'm trying to do right now, you have to look at your numbers. So somewhere around October is when I made the switch to Twitch streaming, and I've been doing that ever since, and it's so much fun for me. And then TikTok, I didn't really take that seriously until probably the beginning of this year and stuff, like actually making skits and stuff. And in the past like what 2 weeks, I've gained around like almost 30,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just pretty excited on where this is going.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, I feel like it's most content creators' dreams to get like a following. But it seems like
Mhm.
you've had a following for a while and you're able to grow a following through other platforms. Did you think you were going to get to where you are now so soon, or is this kind of a late jump for you?
Well, as a lot of people say in the content creation space, like the bigger channels, and it's more of a marathon, not a sprint, right? So
Yeah,
technically, like it started 2 years ago when I started doing the meme page. Back then, when I started, it was just a hobby for me. I just did it for fun and wanted to make people laugh. But we progressed through the years, I started to notice that like I love like streaming, making YouTube videos, making TikTok, just making videos and stuff that make people smile. And that's sort of where I wanted to go with my career path. Like I just graduated from college in May, and I was lucky enough to where like I know some verified creators, and one she's a good friend of mine, Aviva Sophia. She has like 3.3 million
yeah.
on
She's
TikTok
really
here
big
and
on
stuff.
TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, I'm one of her managers as well as her editor for
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
So yeah, that sort of helps me in the space of like getting the income along with Twitch as well to be doing this as my job, right? Because like with this whole pandemic thing going on, um, I graduated with business, and even with that, it was sort of like scarce trying to find a job.
Yeah.
And luckily, like in the past couple of months, I've been able to do this. And since I'm in my early like mid 20s and stuff, it's like this is where I got to take my leap of faith. And yeah, it's risky. Not a lot of people make it, but I'm pretty confident that with the effort that I've been putting in
Yeah,
and the community that I've built and stuff, they're like super supportive of what I'm doing, and well, we can only go up from here.
right on. And just to like bring things a little bit more back and more internal for you, Adrian,
Hmm.
what was the drive, and now currently still is, what is the drive to create content, to show yourself in a manner where you're bringing like you're bringing light in people's eyes, or you're just being entertaining? What's that drive?
Hmm. I think the drive is when I was younger, I always wanted to be a YouTuber, right? Like people have their dreams of what they want to be in their career. And I sort of lost that in going into school because it's sort of being told, oh, you need to get this X
For
job or whatever
sure.
because of your parents or what society tells you. And I think what's helped me is going to college and having like the ability to see other people and what they're doing, and just to be in the mindset of like what other people are thinking about and seeing their dreams, what they're pushing for. Because a lot of people in college are still trying to figure out what they're trying to do. They can graduate with whatever degree
Yeah.
that they have, right? But they're still searching for what they're really passionate about post college. And some people even go back to college because they figure out what they're doing is not really what they want to do. So again, the driving force for me is just creating content that I like. No longer am I really making content that I know other people like want to see in terms of like memes and stuff. I
Yeah.
just stopped like making memes. It wasn't really fun anymore for me, and that's the whole reason why I started. But doing the content creation of streaming YouTube and TikTok and stuff, I find that more like I'm able to put into my creativity and like more of a creative outlet for me. And so far, it's been positively received.
Yeah, right on. And just to kind of go on through the content creating a little bit, do you feel like you have to present
Mhm.
yourself in a different manner from how you feel like you actually are?
Um, Not really. I guess the only thing is like in my oh sorry, hold on, let me get my dog because he's like barking and stuff. One sec.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, sorry about
No
that.
worries.
What was I getting onto? Because I sort of lost my train of thought.
Yeah, yeah.
What
I was
was
just
the
asking
question?
about like, do you feel like you have to present yourself in a different way when you're live streaming or you're making videos?
Right. I think the only difference between like I guess my online personality and myself is that like in real life I'm more like introverted. I guess I'm not really like too
Yeah,
talkative,
yeah.
but other than that, like this, I mean,
I think we cut you
from
cut
my
out a little bit, Adrian.
okay,
If you
oh
just go
yeah,
back like 10 seconds.
yeah. Want me just to start
Yeah,
over?
that'd be great.
I can start over and so yeah. So I think the only difference is that in my real life I'm sort of a little bit more introverted than my online personality. Obviously, as an online personality, you have to be a little bit more outgoing to engage the audience,
Yeah.
right? But other than that, I pretty much act how I do in real life, right? And being in this content creation scape, it sort of helped me to be less introverted in my real life. Like I'm more willing to go out and do things or talk more or just take advantage of opportunities because of this.
Yeah. Right on. And kind of just to close it a little bit, what are the next steps for you?
The next steps is just continuing doing what I'm doing, grinding out, putting out content because as a content creator, consistent, like when you're smaller and stuff, consistency is key,
Yeah.
right? Like for me, I'm always like critical on the stuff that I put out as far as for myself, which is sometimes hinders me because then I'll think a certain video or something isn't up to par and then I just completely trash it. But at the same time, if you look at like any other big content creator, the it's sort of like a learning curve of what you've been posting earlier to what's working now. So
Yeah.
really it's just staying at that mindset to even if like you don't think it's good, just to have like that collection of content for somebody to see because you never know with like the algorithms from YouTube, which I'm trying to push more for, videos can blow up like a year or two after you post them. So if you're posting videos constantly and stuff, you just give yourself a better chance to blow up in that way.
Absolutely. I think it's definitely a way just to put yourself out there. Put yourself out there.
Hmm.
And you never know. I mean, even now you could see on YouTube or other platforms, the videos are resurfacing from like 8 years ago.
Right, right.
Yeah, right on. Now to like officially close, do you have any last minute thoughts, Adrian, or of course anything you want to shout out?
As far as shouting out, you can find me on all my socials are at Amoistnapkin. The only different one is TikTok. That one is It's Me Napkin. I tried to get the Amoistnapkin handle, but somebody else beat me to it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just shouting out. You know, if you want to catch me streaming over at Twitch or follow me on Twitter or YouTube and stuff like that, or even Instagram, you know, I'll be providing grade A content there.
Yeah. Thank you, Adrian, for just taking the time to.
Oh yeah,
Chat.
thank you for having me. This is very fun.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep in touch over the years, and I look forward to just watching you grow and expand your brand and just everything you're up to.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Right on. So I'll keep you posted for what is to come, and until then, I will talk to you later, Adrian.
All right. Thank you for having me once again.
So a good starter question I love to ask is just, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Fortino Soto, and I'm calling from California.
Right on. And I guess we could go a little bit back. We've kind of been in the talks of trying to get something like where we would talk, but not really. I mean, like, why did you change your mind? Like, what led you to right now?
Well, you see, it's just something I've been thinking about. I haven't really done much in these last few days, so I thought, maybe I could just do this. It seems like something nice I could do, and maybe I could,
Right on. And what's the elevator pitch, or just give me a rundown of who Fortino Soto is?
I'm nobody special. I'm just like everybody else, surviving during the current pandemic and living my life.
Right on. So I know you like mentioned you haven't been doing much. What have you been up to? I saw that you like to cook. You play some games.
I'm very new at cooking. I don't know if I'm that good yet. Uh, I've been trying to get into streaming, but it's not been so good.
No worries. We all have like a start.
Yeah.
Right on. So you came to me, you just kind of wanted to spread some positive words and really just talk about the topic of love and kindness.
Yeah, yeah.
How'd that
It,
start for you?
well, that's kind of always been my thing. From a very early age, I've always thought just do good and be good to those around you. That's kind of a common message, but you don't really see it a lot nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. What makes you want to really just spread this word? Did you have like any personal experiences or something you've read or
It's not something I've read, it's just those around me. Everyone around me is always shown love and compassion to those. And uh, there was a time when we didn't get so much love. And I feel, though, that from that, I've gained the ability to just be empathetic towards pretty much anyone, no matter what it is.
yeah. Is it okay if we talk about whatever happens, why you had this like lack of love in your life?
Yeah, sure. It's so long, it's a bit of what ago to remember. I
Yeah.
believe it was 2016 or 2017. We were, I remember waking up one day and I was getting told that we have to leave. The house was getting sold.
Mm.
So from that, we kind of went on a long journey. We went motel to motel. Some nights we didn't do so great with the motels. Eventually, we found a place with one of our family friends, but that didn't last very long either. And so we went motel to motel again. And this kept going till like 2019. And then we finally got a place of our own.
Right on. So what was it that you really felt that you just needed love? I mean, you were with your family and you had each other, but did you think you really had a sense of I want
We
more?
did. There was a lot of love there. I wouldn't be acting who I was today if it wasn't for their love. But it was more of what I saw the others doing. It was one of those moments of clarity where when I didn't have very much, I was seeing all the loves my parents were giving me, but a lot of the other people around me looked like they were just taking love for granted.
Mm. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, it's something that's definitely overlooked and once you get an abundance of it, you don't think about it for a second. And
yeah,
here you are, you've really experienced just an opportunity where all you really had was just love.
yeah.
Right on. I mean, how are you like bringing that into how you treat people today and just your experiences now?
I'm very open to what people are. It, it doesn't matter the religion, it doesn't matter the race, it doesn't matter their sexuality. No matter who you are, you're gonna get love from me.
Yeah, I think that's really amazing that you're just able to do it. But at the same time, I say it's really amazing, but I think the truth is, I think this is a quality and trait that everyone should have.
Yeah, and that's something I've thought about a lot. It's these traits that sound amazing, but really they shouldn't be. They should just be something everyone has.
Yeah. I think especially on social media, I personally have been seeing a whole bunch of things um, of course, I see a lot of things, but one thing specifically that really sticks out is for all these people trying to get into relationships and says like, oh, I want a person that treats me right or, you know, just does nice things to me. And I think that's just kind of absolutely heartbreaking. Sure, it's really nice to have someone who treats you well, but I think if that's the standard where you're not being loved and you're not being shown love, I think it's just absolutely heartbreaking that that's not the standard.
It is, man. It is, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's also how some of us perceive love as well. because some of us could perceive love as they bought me a giant, brand new ring, loves me so much, but
Yeah.
like they're only seeing that because they bought them something really expensive when they could say the same exact thing for if they just give them a big old hug or did something different.
Yeah. I mean, just like in your eyes, what is love to you?
Love to me is when you see someone and you know their faults, you know what they're good at, you know almost everything about them, and you can just be there for them, and they'll be there for you too.
Yeah. It's that just really it's what it is, what it's come to deep down is just being able to rely on someone else.
Yeah,
Right on.
and nowadays love is seen as, I don't want to say something else. It's not nothing negative because love is still present. That's the thing. But I think we've overstepped what love should be.
Mm. Why do you think it is? That's a tough question to ask. Why is that?
That is a tough question. I don't think it's anything specific. I think it's just as we progress, we start wanting more. That's naturally what it is. So, but when it comes to something like love and happiness, you can't really get more than what's given to you. And that's not to say to be settling for what you have, because you should never settle, but you shouldn't be asking for a lot.
Mm. Yeah. I think what's really heartbreaking is, of course, just the lack of love in the
Yeah,
world. I think what's even more heartbreaking is for the people who obviously deserve love feel that they have no love.
yeah. There's a lot of people out there. It it hurts, but you gotta love yourself first.
Mm. For sure. I think with anything, really, you can't give out what you don't have. And I think that first step is to just love yourself.
It is.
Yeah, and that's
There's
just,
a it was one of the hardest lessons I ever learned.
yeah. I mean, like, what was your journey with loving yourself?
Yeah, that started back in freshman year of high school. It was always other people before me, and that for a while I didn't see it as a bad thing. I always thought it was good that I'm taking care of others before I did.
Mm.
And one day, I don't really want to get into this,
Yeah,
but
no, no.
one day there's a person who was really close to me, and I was at my absolute lowest,
Ugh.
and I thought that, well, if I treated them the way I did for so long, maybe they'll treat me the same way. It it never happened.
Yeah. And that's really
And
unfortunate.
yeah, and that's when it started. That's when I realized, as bad as it sounds, I should stop caring and start thinking about me first. And after a while from that, I realized I should care, but it all had to have started with me first.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting how there's this like stigmatization where loving yourself is considered selfish in some people's eyes.
And that's one of the hardest things to do for
Yeah.
people who are like me. You have to love yourself, and it's the hardest thing to do because when you start treating yourself nice, others around you feel like the others around you are talking about you, or like they're
Yeah.
thinking
Uh,
about you, and
just the
it's
insecurities that come with that journey.
it's difficult, and that's why I really had to sit down and I had to think that I had to give myself the thoughts that they didn't care in order for me to get better and start caring about them again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I may, there is one thing I wanted to say to anybody listening to this.
Go ahead.
Uh, if you're listening to this and you think that those around you are talking about you, if you think they're conspiring against you, if you think they're doing anything about you, take it from me. They care, but they don't want you to fall into this pit, because when you fall, you're going to crash hard. And it's up to you to crawl out of it. Just take some time and reflect on yourself and start loving yourself, because that's the best thing you could possibly do for them.
Yeah. I know that's something you really want to say, but just to really close, you know, do you have any last minute thoughts and anything you want to shout out?
I want to shout out every single person I know. If they've listened to this, they know who they are. I don't want to say their names because, you know,
They know.
but
They know.
yeah, they know. And the last person I want to thank is a special one. I will say his name. His name is Tian Pham. He's he's brought me a lot, and him and his brother. And recently we stopped talking, but even through that, he's chosen a path, and I believe that this path that he's chosen is the best one for him, even if that means we have to stop talking.
Yeah. And I think what's really just astonishing about life is maybe you will reconnect later in life.
I sure hope so.
Right on. Well, I know that's really quick and brief, but that's typically how these things go, you know?
That's all it is.
Exactly so. Right on. So
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted for what is to come. And once again, Tino, thank you so much for just talking to me and wanting to spread this positive message.
That's no problem. It's just what I do.
Right on.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Tino.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Right on. I mean, thank you just so much, Andy, for taking the time to chat with me. I know you're pretty busy, and I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
Right on. So the first thing I really just ask is, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Well, I go by BamaAndy on social media platforms, but my name is Andy. I live outside of Gadsden, Alabama. I'm currently on the road. I'm an over-the-road truck driver and shut down for the night in Corbin, Kentucky.
Gotcha. And I don't know your relationship status, Andy, but if you were on a first date, what are you saying to really have your date get an idea of who you are and what your values are, or just anything about you?
Well, I am currently single, but every person is a little different, so
Yeah.
I try not to be so cliche like others. I just think that going somewhere simple and getting to spend quality time together so you can actually communicate. So not necessarily the movies, because you really aren't supposed to talk in the movies. So just anywhere that's a little bit, kind of mood setting, if you will, whether it be out by the lake or something. I mean, I'm a country boy, so I like the simple things in life, but just anywhere you can spend some quality time and get to actually talk one-on-one.
Yeah, and why is that important to you? I know it's important for everyone, but like you said, everyone has their own different types of things that drives them. Why is this one-on-one so important to you out of all the other things you could be doing?
I've been through life enough. I'm 37 years old, so I'm going to cut to the chase whenever I'm getting to know a lady, and I just feel like it's best for me, so we can just go ahead and get some of the preliminary things out of the way and understand one another and talk about life.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, on the movies or something like that, you really don't get that time for real.
Right. And what are the type of things you're saying to really introduce who you are?
Put me on the spot with some of these questions. I'm going to explain my home life, with the importance about my family, my children. I'm going to obviously explain some of the things about the simple life where I come from. I didn't grow up in a big city, and I'm a country boy again, like I said, so I'm used to a little bit slower pace of life, and just kind of make them understand that it's not a competition. You can be relaxed. Whether I'm looking to date somebody or not, believe it or not, I'm actually quite unjudgmental. So I try to keep an open mind no matter who it is and what's going on. So, just basically try to relax them, and like, you don't have to be tense around me. I mean, I talk to anybody, no matter where, no matter what time of the day or nothing. So, if it's somebody that I'm interested in dating, I want them to feel relaxed as well and understand that I'm a simple person. We can take it down. You don't have to overthink it. I'm nobody. I'm just a guy. I'm human.
For sure. And you totally seem like you're just easygoing, laid back, go with the flow type of person. And you've really built yourself a platform, and you've kind of got this mass following. How are you using this platform?
So I got on TikTok February 1st of 19. So it's literally just been a hair over 19 months now. And I've been very fortunate to gain over, 10,500 followers per month, basically, if you were to average it out. But, a lot of people come in my lives and stuff, and they're like, will you friend me? And I try to really make people understand that this is an app. This is social media. I don't care if it's, TikTok or Instagram or whatever. There's a potential that any of it can be shut down any day. You take the app away, I'm the same person, no matter what.
Yeah.
I like to have a good time. I like to be goofy and do things and make people laugh, as well as share stories to potentially inspire someone and just give some advice. I've had a kind of a rough life at times. There's a 29-part series on my TikTok to give an example, I'm sorry, that explains a little bit of the covering of what I've gone through in life. So people can relate to things that I talk about, and I try to utilize that and treat everybody as a friend, but also speak to them in a manner that I hope they can be inspired to smile, to research the situation they're in. I don't try to condone people getting out of their marriages or relationship necessarily. I try to make people understand the things they need to really investigate and dig deep on with their hearts and with their spouse to possibly fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Or whether it's simple things like, I'm not a drinker anymore. So I try to also let people see that you can be a young, almost middle-age-ish person and not have to worry about that party life and still have a good time and be the life of the party. So I've been very fortunate nonetheless on my TikTok especially to gain the friends and followers and family, if you will, by virtue of speaking my fact, if you will, my opinion on a lot of things. And I really try to keep it non-political and all, and a very, again, unbiased opinion on things, because I just believe in loving everybody. We've got so much going on in our world, especially, but even in our country, so much turmoil. And I try to keep that stuff out. For example, people come in my lives on TikTok and they're like, Trump 2020 or Biden 2020. And I'm like, hey, you get one warning. Don't come in my life talking politics. We're not here to talk politics. We're here to spread smiles, create some positivity, inspire people, and have a good time. And that's just how I live my life. So I've been very fortunate.
Yeah. I mean, with social media nowadays, as much as people are tearing down, there are people trying to bring people up and trying to inspire, do what you're doing exactly.
Right.
And you kind of touched a little bit with how you mentioned you've had your own experiences with kind of difficulties in life. How are you staying motivated to really inspire and lift up people?
Sure. So real quick, I will revert back to, if people want to take the time, there's a 29-part series video session on my TikTok that can be found. It's fairly recent. You'll kind of know it because you'll see some of the same attire on and everything. But in that, I explain to people, because of the turmoil and the different things that I've experienced in life, the traumatic things, the demons that I battle and everything, by virtue of being on social media and impacting somebody's life, it makes me smile. So by your smile, I smile and I keep the demons at bay. So it's easy for me to try to motivate people because, in essence, they motivate me. And I'll give you an example, and we don't have to really go into this, but I've recently gone through a breakup, and I'm taking it pretty rough, but I've come a long way, and I, for the most part, 98% of the time I'm good. But last night I had a moment. I was on live. We ended up with about 150 people in my live. I cried a little bit.
Yeah.
But the whole purpose of me going on that live was to fix me. And guess what happened? Within 10 minutes of me sitting there crying and talking about problems, these amazing people in the TikTok community inspired me, put a smile on my face, and then it put the smiles on their face. So again, it's just, I really try to focus on being surrounded by positive people who want to love one another and smile. I don't care your race, your age, your gender, your sexual preference, your religious beliefs, your political background. I don't give a crap about none of that.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. I just want to love you. Let me love you.
For sure. Wow. That's interesting because a lot of people on social media nowadays are, I mean, there's like, I guess the kids who are like insecure, or they're like post stuff for attention, but here you are trying to post yourself at the most vulnerable times, yet you're still able to be lifted up by not only your fans, but you're able to lift up your fans in a way. It's just truly something. It's something really special.
Yeah, and a lot of people who are on social media, especially the TikTok platform, really don't understand. And naturally, there's all this debate about TikTok going away,
Yeah.
and the Trump administration doing this, doing that, and I try to make people understand that money, the love for money is the root of all evil. It's just, it is what it is. I don't personally see TikTok going away anytime soon because there's too much money to be made. It was the number one downloaded app in 2019. So I will continue until the last breath of this app.
Yeah.
Try to push my personal take on us trying to love one another. Stop the hate. It's not worth it. Look, man, I'm a small town Southern man from Alabama. I grew up in a very conservative family. I grew up in a town of 3,000 people. I've got my own personal beliefs about life and love and religion and everything and politics, but that's irrelevant. That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. That's my preference. It doesn't mean I'm going to love you or treat you any different because you don't agree with me. And that is a big, big problem in society these days. We can't coexist and we can't agree to disagree. Everybody gets so offended and so hateful and so judgmental. Stop it. Look back to the key factors of life and how we're supposed to love thy neighbor. It's simple.
Yeah.
But people make it so complex these days. And that's just not who I am. I just literally want to continue to try to make people smile, inspire them, love them. And in turn, I get that gratification because they show me that they care about me, or at least in a sense of me smiling and everything. So it helps me go on day to day and push, like I said, the demons.
Yeah. I know it's really like short, sweet, and simple, but thank you so much, Andy, for just taking the time to chat with me. Do you have any last minute words or anything you want to shout out?
No, again, I do appreciate your time. And when we get off this, please message me your social media platforms. I'd like to definitely follow you, keep in touch and everything. My number one used social media platform currently is TikTok, and it's at BamaAndy, BamaAndy. I do post some on Instagram, and that's BamaAndy TikTok. But most of the time, it's just basically me bringing over videos from TikTok to Instagram, just to kind of build a little bit of a following on there, so in case it disappears. I've recently started a YouTube, and it's BamaAndy as well. Pretty much every social media is either BamaAndy or BamaAndy TikTok, but I just mainly focus on the TikTok community because it's worked out so well. I used to be on Vine back in the day, and the algorithms with that were so different.
Yeah.
And a lot of us from the Vine crew are on TikTok these days, and I really have been blessed so much I've got some lifelong friends that I've made. Last night I literally spent a few hours at a woman's house I look at like a sister, and I got to meet her husband, and we've been friends for a year and a half, but we've always hung out at other places. But I got to meet her husband and, her animals, and they cook supper, and it's stuff like that that just really, really mean the world to me by having lifelong friends and these people who put so much effort into making me smile, which makes me do the same for them. So I do appreciate your time this evening for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Andy, and I'll keep you posted for what is to come.
All right, friend.
All right. Enjoy your night.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Special thanks to LukRemBo, Wetgropes, and Matthew May for the music I used in today's episode. Of course, thank you Adrian, Fortino Soto, and Andy for being the guest on today's episode. If you enjoyed Milking Ardor, make sure you're following or you hit that bell icon so you get notified for whenever I post stuff. There is exclusive Milking Ardor content on other platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Just search up Milking Ardor and you could navigate from there. If you want to be on Milking Ardor, reach out to me on Instagram at _Spence_R_. I pretty much answer all my DMs except the rude ones, but hey. That's it for me. We're episode 17. Episode 18 is going to come out this weekend, so this weekend is going to be a double whammy. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for making Milking Ardor happen. I look forward to hearing, well, not really, but I look forward for you to tune in next week or next time, whatever it may be. But have a great day, night. Make sure you take deep breaths. It's very stressful in today's world, but we're in this together, and I have faith in you. Until next time, my name is Spencer Chan. This is Milking Ardor episode 17, and I will see you later.